This is a subject that's been going on for quite some time, and there's been a lot of talk for some years actually now. Death of the dollar, talking about the U.S. dollar. Uh, I hear these stories, and have been for a few years now, and I heard about, well, it's a fact, not a rumor, trade between China and Brazil. Not listed on here, but trade between China and Brazil. They don't use the U.S. dollar anymore either as the world reserve currency. That was as of a couple years ago. And it's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's planned. It's all part of the global package they're putting together for everybody. And the fact that Lindsey Williams says that the dollar is going to be dead by the end of 2012, he probably has some good information there. But I don't like to take anything he says on face value. Not that I'm saying he's dishonest, but I pay attention to him a lot. But I think there's some disinformation mixed in here, so I'm very skeptical. I try to get the facts out in other ways. But a couple years ago, China and Brazil, even though they're having some problems lately, and Brazil's getting pissed off at the Chinese. I was like in the last couple months about them, selling goods so cheaply, it's hurting their industry. So they're talking about putting up trade tariffs, But that's a side subject. But anyway, they stopped using the dollar as to settle trade. As of November 24, 2010, Russia and China will not use the dollar to settle trade. They're going to settle trade in their own currencies. July 24th, it's 8 months later, approximately 2011, July 24th, China makes direct barter agreement with Iran in exchange for oil. Now, the Iranian oil bourse does not accept U.S. dollars anyway. So, the thing is, it wasn't working out so good because they couldn't find any bigger customers where it would have an impact. Well, China bit on that, so they got some pretty good business there from China, and it's being added to. The U.S. dollar will not be used to settle trade in oil between China and Iran. December 25th, 2011, China and Japan promote direct trading in yuan and yen. Japan buys Japanese government bonds instead of U.S. government bonds. Probably a smarter thing to do. December 29th, 2011, India strengthens bilateral agreement with Japan to boost the rupee. Japan will invest in India infrastructure projects in return. So the dollar is being, some of the things that have been going on, a couple years ago, it's picking up. It's picking up. So a lot of this stuff is very bullish for the precious metals by quite a stretch. January 7, 2012, Dmitry Medvedev proposes Iran and Russia drop the U.S. dollar and buy the rial and ruble in bilateral trade. So basically, they're opposing the UN sanctions. January 20th, 2012, several days ago, India pays Iran for oil in rupees, ignores the UN sanctions. India needs Iranian oil, so there's no way, if there's a need for the product, they're going to find a way around it. But all these things are going to be very bullish for the metals. And I think, so, everybody I think is very, very, they're holding back and saying they don't want to say something like silver's going to $100 an ounce this year. It might get pretty damn close to that. That's what I'm thinking. They don't want to say. Say it's going to break to 50. Maybe it's going to go to 60. I think it's going to do better than that. It's going to make up for lost time. And I'm not just saying that because there's a lot of things going on that, point to the fact that the dollar is really going to start unraveling a lot faster. Just like back in 2008, what did they tell you about the euro? Get rid of the U.S. dollar, go buy the euro. Remember that? Back in 2008, we'll be using a euro. Good. That's what all the people were saying back then. How wrong they were. Right now, it's almost like The consensus is, oh, the dollar's pretty bad trouble, but it's still the strongest thing around. It's pretty safe. It's been around a long time. Doesn't really seem to be for most people. Because a lot of people are holding a lot of cash. They're not going into. They're not doing the right thing. They're holding a lot of cash, and I don't think we're going into deflation. I noticed there was all those pundits were coming out left and right because it looked like deflation back at the end of 2012. But I think Bernanke's going to be true to form, and we're going to go into serious inflation. And it's not going to be him trying to do this, but it's just like I said all along. That money supply's been building up, but it's not floating around the economy because everybody's holding cash. They're holding the wrong thing. They need to be holding precious metals. They're stupid. The majority always gets it wrong. I know on this channel, people listen to silver, it's a very small minority out of the vast amount of Americans, though. Very few people are buying precious metals. And once this takes off, well, they could buy them, but it's going to be at a much higher price. And but as far as this year, I think it's going to go way. I think it's going to go way the hell up. It's going to get close to 100, then it's going to pull back. It's going to do the same thing. And watch when all these people come out and start saying, "Oh, it's going to go to 400, 300, 200, whatever," because it's near 100. I think they're going to be wrong. I think it's going to pull back. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but I think maybe it's the next time it's going to go skyrocketing through the roof. But I would never sell all of it because you really don't know what's going to happen. Sell it in pieces because you really don't know. You really don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with the tax laws. You don't know what's going to happen even if the currency gets hyperinflated into oblivion. I don't think they intend to do that, but it might happen. But I would sell it in pieces and make smart purchases and smart investments from there. But it looks like silver is going to be taking off quite a bit, even now, even earlier this year. It seems to be doing pretty good. And, nothing's coming out from Bernanke yet, but it seems like there's a lot of word on the street that it's going to happen. And a little common sense says it's going to happen because elections are coming up. So, what do you think they're going to do? Make the economy crappy, or they're going to make everything look good? They're going to make everything look good. So metals are going up a hell of a lot this year. That's a sure bet. Not just saying that, and I think it's going up a hell of a lot more than the silver and gold pundits are saying right now. Back when things were looking really rosy, in silver and gold, like in August or back in April, they made some big lofty predictions. But I think those big lofty predictions they were making way back then about what's going to happen in 2012 will now happen in 2012. There's a whole set of rules that are coming out right now. The whole landscape is changing completely. And I think a lot of the silver and gold bugs, they're afraid to make a higher prediction for 2012 right now. I think there is going to be a big movement in metals this year. Big movement. But I fear a pullback before the real blast off that I expect. So there might be a big movement. It might go to $90 an ounce. But I'd be very worried about a pullback. So my plan is I'll sell some off and I'll buy half of it back if it pulls back. That's what I'll do.